think I'll go ahead with the, we'll see what they say, because it's their vote, you know, and I'm good with, I guess I'm good with Brian's, because it's really not fun. Yeah, I did do that. So I see your point. The other one, again, if he was qualified.
Turnout. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, but I'm telling you, we should have shut down the street.
We couldn't get in.
No, you should have. You went back. You went back.
Yeah, I went back at 10, so I could make sure things.
It was done at 4 for the day.
I don't blame you. Well, because you had the conference, right?
Yeah,
Or was
the
that-
night before,
yeah.
yeah.
It was not done before.
I was.
I was there at 10. Yeah, it was still.
Going,
nothing, so,
yeah. I had friends calling me from there. Come on down. I'm like, been there, done that.
We had a couple ceremonial Jägermeisters, and that was the end of me. It was time to go home then.
Not today.
I got a ride home, and that was it.
Where were they serving Jagermeisters?
Friends of mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
they speak German?
Oh, well, they can speak a little German. Like Jägermeister.
It's 7 p.m., so we'll call this meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pileski.
Here.
Trustee Berkshire.
Here.
Trustee Delapenna.
Here.
Trustee Domke.
Here.
Trustee Lanisa.
Here.
Trustee Prokowski.
Here.
Trustee Trejo.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We'll move to presentation of the prepared agenda. Do I have a motion to approve? Moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Yes.
All those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries. We'll now move on to public comment. Anyone wishing to provide a public comment on a topic or an agenda item may address the board during this time. Madam Clerk, do we have any comments submitted in advance?
We did not.
Thank you so much. Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the board at this time? Please come and approach the podium. And if you wouldn't mind, for the record, stating your name. Okay. No, absolutely. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, if you could just exchange contact information with our village administrator, Jason Belowski here. I know as far as the mail service goes, the village doesn't have any responsibility or jurisdiction over the post office, but we can certainly raise your concerns with them. I know I've had turnover in my postal workers as well, and I can only imagine they're having similar issues like we're all having as far as hiring at this time, but we can certainly provide your feedback to them. I'd strongly encourage you to reach out to our Congress, whoever represents you in Congress, whether it's Raja Krishnamurthy or Sean Casson, depending where you live in the village, one of those two would represent you, and making sure that they're aware of that issue as well, and they can advocate through their channels. As far as the power goes, I know we constantly are providing feedback to ComEd on that. We have a government relations individual that we work with and provide that feedback. One thing that Jason can provide you is anytime any interruption of service happens, what we encourage every resident to do is to log that with them, so that way they have a master list. We do that when we see that on our end, but any resident, whether watching now or later, that's the best thing that we can do to advocate, so that way ComEd sees, and every time that there's a disruption in power service, because of a lot of feedback from a specific neighborhood in town, ComEd has gone through and done extra tree trimming, and they're continuing to look at investments in specific power lines because of that repetition and seeing that many issues and outages occur. So, we'll continue to advocate and work with these two different agencies that are responsible for those services and continue. And we appreciate your feedback on that matter. But if you don't mind exchanging information with Jason, we can. Oh yeah, that'd be perfect. And he has his business card, so you can have his information as well. Okay, thank you so much. All right. We'll move on to officials and staff reports. So I'll keep mine short. So thank you to the board for coming out for the inaugural Bach Fest. I think that went really well. So thank you, Patty, for getting our candy organized, and Missy for the koozies and whatnot. So, and Jason and Tom for holding down the truck for us, and Public Works for lending it to us. So no accident occurred. So that was great. But I think it was a great way to kick off the centennial events going on throughout town. Also, just as a reminder to the board, we have a ribbon cutting, busy Friday. We have a ribbon cutting at 5 p.m. for First Dental, right outside of the Pop's Pizza area. But then also from 5 to 7, we have our first manufacturing meetup. So light appetizers will be served at Electroflex, and we have a number of different agencies there to kind of share and highlight different resources available to our business community. So really excited to have that outreach that we're hosting coming up. So thank you in advance to Matt for pulling that all together. I know that's been a lot of work, so appreciate the effort on that front. Any village trustees have a report tonight? Wayne.
Well, I just feel I should say something about the chamber, that if there's not anything significant, I'm not going to report the chamber events. You guys all get it on your email. So, the golf outing, and if they have a meeting
After hours.
after hours. So just so you know, if that's why I'm not every meeting talking about the chamber.
Okay, thank you. Any other trustee reports tonight? Move to village clerk.
The fish release was this weekend also. So lots of activities going on. As you said, it was highly successful. You couldn't have asked for better weather. The kids were lined up around the ponds in anticipation of throwing their fish into the ponds. And it's the cutest thing when they're naming their fish as they want to,
Those centennial fish?
they were very centennial. But it's just the cutest darn thing that, when you have these little kids with their buckets and they're naming them. So, just want to thank the village support for that event. It's well worth it in many regards, and it was a great day.
Great. Thank you so much. Village Attorney.
No report, Mayor.
All right. Village Administrator.
No report.
All right. Treasurer's report.
Can't say no report.
And is the microphone on real quick? Sorry. Is the microphone on?
That would help. So in your packet tonight is the March Treasurer's Report. On the slides today, the first slide is just showing the monthly budget versus actual for select revenues. These are pretty much the largest revenues for the village. And then I can track them. Each month, most of these go up and down. As you can see, there's very few that are in the negative. One is building permits, which I mentioned last time. We've budgeted some large permits for Metro 19 and for the Timberleaf development, which we actually received some money in April. So you'll see this now become positive. And the ambulance billing, as I mentioned last time too, there's a lag between the increase in rates that the board passed in January and the receipt during the year. So we should see that negative come down. Most of the other revenues are above budget, especially sales tax and income tax, continuing the trend we've seen over the last several months or a year perhaps. Slide 2, just some March highlights. Sales tax is 3.1% higher than March of 2021. Eating tax is 15.8% higher than March of 2021. So again, continuing those trends that we've seen. Revenue of the month, business licenses and liquor licenses were billed in March for a total of $203,000. We haven't received it all, but I know the last time that I inquired, we were at about 65% of business licenses have been paid. And I'm not sure where we're at in liquor licenses, but I know we're pretty close because they're due on Friday. So they'll be wanting to get that in. The revenue of the month part 2 is the first installment of Cook County property taxes were due on March 1st. And the village received about $383,000 in the month of March. Also wanted to give you, this is not in the report, but I wanted to give the board a little bit of a draft or an update of the draft audit report. So the general fund, again, this is the draft, but pretty much the final numbers, ended the year with $315,274 of revenues over expenditures. Ending fund balance was $10,527,912. And this represents 53.7% reserve, which is $1.7 million over the 45% reserve target. So when we come to you in July for the mid-year budget, this will be the number we'll be looking at. Last year, I think it was $2 million, and we did half to the pension funds and to capital projects. Water sewer operating ended the year with $159,469 revenues over expenditures, leaving it with an ending cash and investment balance of just over $2.7 million, which again is over the 25% reserve target of about $780,000. That we're keeping. We have several large projects coming in the future, so we are bringing in some available cash for that. If you noticed in the treasurer's report, the fire department overtime. The next slide, thank you. You'll notice that the overtime is close to budget already. And we want to give you a little chart here because there's many components that go into it, of course. But Metro, the paramedic service, the contract, when there are shortages on that contract, that's covered by overtime. And so that's why you're seeing the overtime come in so much higher. So the overtime over what we expect, we're at 23% or so, is 71,000. But Metro we've reduced the amount that we have to pay because of the vacancies by just over 34,000. And part-time has been 33,000 under what we expected so far. So really, between those three, we're over budget by $3,395. So you may see that big number in overtime, but really there's many factors that go into it, and it's not that far over budget. And then lastly, in the report, the last page of my written report, I've added a section on commuter parking. Just to give everybody, we mentioned that in the budget, that we'd be looking at the commuter parking lot this year because of the COVID and the reduced number of parkers. One thing to notice, the daily fees are almost back to where we were pre-pandemic. But unfortunately, the bulk of the money that we get comes from permit sales, and those have not rebounded as much, but they are starting to increase. We're seeing every month an increase in the number of permits. Part of that is the new online feature. People can pick the permit time, so we are seeing that pick up. But again, the key thing though is the number of daily parkers are getting close to where we were pre-pandemic. And that'll be it. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Tom? I guess a question / a request, when we get into receiving Metro 19 permit payments, I guess it'd be nice just to segment those out, just so that way, as we track other permits and whatnot, that we don't see things skewed for years to come, just related to those.
For the commuter.
For Metro 19.
Oh, Metro 19, got you. Yeah.
Sorry, different
Oh, yeah,
permits.
no, yeah, no, yeah. 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 Yeah, because we can provide both.
Thank you so much. We'll now move to unfinished business. First, we have the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine, procedural, informational, self-explanatory, or non-controversial in nature and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no discussion on these items. Tonight, we have presentation approval of the village board minutes of April 11th, 2022. Adopt a resolution authorizing the village administrator to execute an employee leasing agreement with GovTemp USA for economic development consultants, and then confirm the public works director signature and submittal of the Illinois joint purchase requisition for bulk road salt. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries. Community Development Administration, we do not have anything tonight. Fire, trustee Trejo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2023 Horton ambulance from Foster Coach Sales Incorporated in the amount of $327,313.00 through the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes.
Just a quick question, that this has nothing to do with the ambulance that we had an accident with. This was a normal sequenced replacement.
Correct. It's normal sequence, originally budgeted for 2023 and the replacement fund. We're asking for it to be approved early because what we're finding is obviously with the shortage of chassis that we want to get it ordered now so we can receive in 2023 with the back order of chassis through Ford. We ordered today. Our anticipation delivery date is 14 to 16 months from today. So this way allows us to get ahead of the game and be first in line with Horton for the 2023 chassis. We've already experienced, and then Karen can speak to it better than I can, of several chassis that have been ordered and Ford has canceled those orders because of the backlog. So we want to just make sure that we're in a position.
It's an inflated price due to the way the economy is going, is that?
Absolutely. So, I mean, since our last purchase was in 2019, the increase, the ambulance has gone up $64,000. That's between the cost of the chassis and the manufacturing. The cot and the power load in the back is no different, as that price has gone up 13,000 over that same amount of time. So inflation's catching us across the board, and we're seeing it's the same with all manufacturers. We kind of went out to take a look to make sure that we were in the ballpark, and we're seeing the same thing across all segments.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? That being said, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries. We have nothing on our police tonight. Public Works, trustee Domke.
Ready for that, Mr. Mayor? I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for the 2022 street and pavement patching program between the Village of Roselle and Builders Paving LLC in the amount of $1,914,000.
Second.
Any discussion?
Can't read that many zeros.
It's nice and they're even. Seeing none, could we do a roll call?
Trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Lanisa,
Aye.
trustee Delapenna,
Aye.
trustee Perkowski,
Aye.
and trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries.
Continuing the generosity, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for the 2022 sanitary manhole lining project between the Village of Roselle and Structured Solutions LLC in the amount of $124,482.72.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Oh, yeah, go for it.
Is this is where we're doing it with Bartlett? And, you know, I just wanted to highlight the fact that our DNA says that we look to go with cooperative purchases whenever we can. And this is another, I'm just happy to see this and make a statement to anyone out there that that's what we do. So by going and partnering with Bartlett, we're getting it at a reduced rate. Correct? Good, thank you.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Yes.
All those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries.
I'd also like to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the purchase of a skid steer loader and accessories from the Atlas Bobcat in the amount of $60,734 through the Joint Purchasing Cooperative Sourcewell.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries.
One more, Mr. Mayor, if I may. I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for consulting services for the water SCADA improvement project between the Village of Roselle and Ultranex Control Systems, Division of LW Allen LLC in the amount of $132,886.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, that motion carries. We'll now move to finance. Trustee Lanisa.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the accounts payable list for April 25th, 2022 in the amount of $1,164,989.04.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Yes.
All those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Trustee Domke abstains. That motion carries.
I'd also like to make a motion to pass an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $14,750,000 of general obligation bonds, the alternative revenue source for the Village of Roselle, DuPage, and Cook County of Illinois for the purpose of financing eligible redevelopment projects within said village's East Irving Park Road Development Project area. Said bonds being general obligation bonds for which real estate taxes unlimited as to the rate or amount may be levied, but which are expected to be paid from incremental property taxes derived from the village's East Irving Park Road and Irving Central Tax Increment Financing Districts.
Thank you so much. Any discussion from the board? All right. With that being said, could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Lanisa,
Aye.
trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Perkowski,
Aye.
trustee Delapenna,
Aye.
and trustee Berkshire.
Yes.
All right, and that motion carries. Could I now have a motion to enter executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Purpose of the executive session is discuss collective bargaining with Roselle Professional Firefighters Association Local 4051. And we do anticipate final action as a result of this discussion.
Thank you so much. Could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Berkshire,
Yes.
trustee Prokowski,
Aye.
trustee Lanisa,
Aye.
trustee Delapenna.
Aye.
And that motion passes. We'll be back. All right, we're gonna reconvene at 7:34 here. I would like to entertain a motion to adopt a resolution approving a side letter agreement between the Village of Roselle and the International Association of Firefighters Local 4051.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Could I do a roll
Was
call?
that Wayne or was that
Uh,
Tom?
Tom?
Thank you. Yep, roll call.
Yep, please.
Trustee Trejo,
Aye.
trustee Delapenna,
Aye.
trustee Lanisa, trustee Domke,
Aye.
trustee Brookshire,
Yes.
and did we lose trustee Burkowski?
Not in the chambers at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll now move to new business. We do have a second opportunity for public comment. Would anyone wish to speak to the board at this time? Let the record show none. We'll move to Public Works Organizational Alignment. Director Karen Young.
Good evening. As noted in the memo, Public Works continues to implement our previously approved staffing recommendations to address operational readiness and succession planning. We've done this through a period of different ways with restructuring some of our current roles and positions within the department. So far in 2022, we have 5 long-term employees retiring from the village at the end of May. With our previous requirements, we've been very successful in filling the positions until most recently with our senior civil engineering position. This position has been challenging to fill given the current market conditions and high demand for engineers right now. Based on these retirements and other job market challenges, we're constantly evaluating our staffing needs and opportunities to better align with the expectations of the community, internal village customers, as well as overall operational readiness for future retirements, workforce training, and safety programs. To meet these needs, we're recommending a few modifications to the current organizational structure. First being our civil engineering position, we are recommending to put this position on hold and keep the position vacant for the time being. Second, we are recommending to hire an engineering intern to assist our current civil engineer with our summer construction projects to get us through the construction season. And third, we are recommending to add a public works manager position. And this position would be over our fleet and facilities division. The work of these divisions touches all departments within the village as it relates to vehicles, equipment, and our buildings facilities, and serves both our internal and external customers. Secondly, this position would manage our risk management safety program and employee training programs, working to develop long-term programs to assist with the development of our workforce. And lastly, would be working on special projects throughout the Public Works Department in the village, some of which could be our future asset management program. And lastly, in our wastewater division, we're looking to reallocate authorized staffing to align with the organizational changes that we've previously made in other Public Works divisions. This would result in all divisions within Public Works being structured and balanced in the same way. All of these changes being proposed do not increase the authorized strength within the department and doesn't have a negative impact to the current fiscal year budget. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions from the board for Karen?
I think it's straightforward.
All right. Consensus is to move forward from the board?
Yes.
All right.
Great, thank you very much.
Appreciate all the time that went into this. I think this will help, adjust to what the market conditions are and to make sure that we can continue to move forward with Public Works as you've been doing. So thank you so much for your leadership here. Going back to the agenda, we have other business. I guess just as a reminder, this is will be our 1-year anniversary at our next meeting in May, which means new seating assignments. So keep an eye out for your name plate to change, but also if you have any strong preferences on a different committee assignment, please let me know. I think it's good. I benefited personally from rotating around. And so I think it's important just to get different perspectives and different chance to work with different staff. So if there's a department you're particularly interested in working with, I just ask that you email me by the end of the week. I know a few of you had conversations with me, but I will send an email out prior to the meeting so everyone's aware of that and you have a chance to connect. So for new first day of school kind of in May. So something to look forward to. Any other business from the board? All right, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Yes.
Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions?